Hi, I just want to bring up something that I don't really feel like a lot of people in Watertown realize, and that is that Watertown is becoming the dumping ground for every other area's drug addicts, which at the end of the day is going to lead to your homelessness and your increase in crime and everything else.
Right.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I work in healthcare. And I was talking to a coworker recently, and they were telling me how they got talking to one of the few homeless people that are now standing on the side of the road with signs around Watertown.
Right.
And they asked them, like, what brought you here? And they flat out said, they're like, they were shipped to Watertown
Right.
to attend one of our several addiction centers that we now have in town.
Right.
And basically,
To justify them.
they
Yeah.
just were shipped there with a bus ticket, and they were just left there.
Right.
With no other direction.
Right.
And
all of them are young, too.
I mean, huh?
Most of them are young people, too. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, I said, and I mean, I'm just saying, like, I am a young professional, and to be honest, I have left Watertown because of this, partially.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I don't want to be around a bunch of homeless drug addicts, so that's kind of what kind of brought it up, is because they and I were, both lived in fairly nice neighborhoods at one point, but, you go down the street at any given time of day, and you're going to find, I mean, less than a half mile from my house on, there was a gentleman standing with a sign looking for money. So I think that Watertown, I mean, obviously looking at the financial situation and whatnot of the city, I think they got a lot of problems coming down their hands, especially, like I said, all they're going to have are your drug addicts in Watertown, because the people who are decent people don't want to stay there. They're moving outside of the city of Watertown.
So where are you?
And,
Where is it, not to interrupt, but did you move out of Watertown then?
Yes.
So, and how long ago did you move?
About a year ago.
And do you still live in the North Country?
Yes.
Okay, and you feel safer where you are right now?
Absolutely.
And you don't miss your house? Did you like your house? Did you like your neighbors, or was everything falling apart for you?
I loved my neighbors. I liked my house. I didn't have any issues with it. It was really, I mean, it was more convenient living where I was
Right.
in Watertown because of, everything being so close.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, honestly, I dread coming into Watertown now to do anything.
Well, let me ask you though. I mean, you made a decision, and you probably have a family, and you're in a better position right now. Whichever, none of my business. But did you feel that? Were you ever assaulted, or did you feel that at any given time you were in danger by living here?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I actually lived outside of Watertown for 5 years.
Yeah.
I lived in Massachusetts, outside of Boston, where there were M13 gang members.
Yeah.
I had one incident with them when I lived outside of there.
Right.
But twice within the first year of me moving back here, I was walking my dog, and I was approached on both those occasions. And one time, a guy followed me down the road, and I had to have my significant other at the time come and pick me up because I did not feel safe walking my dogs. I mean, I have big dogs. Down the road. I mean, they physically were following me, and I knew that they were following me because they stopped me around the Little Caesars Pizza.
Yeah.
And then I saw them
With a
downtown,
machete.
and then they purposely parked their car so I couldn't cross the street down by Franklin Street. So I think to have that happen twice in the first year, and I had lived in Watertown, born and raised, for 20-some years prior to that, never had that happen.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that was definitely, I don't walk my dogs in water. I mean, after that incident, I stopped walking my dogs in Watertown.
So you feel better now, but you would still work here. Do you still work in Watertown, in the health field?
No.
Okay.
No, I work outside of Watertown.
And was that also part of your decision making not to work here either? Because I'm assuming you were working here too.
No.
All right, never mind. All right. So,
yeah.
okay. So you had the incident. I don't mean to clarify what part of Watertown you lived in because it's a very small town, but where did you live? Just give me north side, south side. Where were you?
I lived by the park.
Okay. All right. Maybe I should go home and get Sharon and I out of here.
Section of town.
Yeah.
I guess to put it for
Yeah.
it was a nice
And as a
section
young
of town.
lady, even walking your dog, which should be a deterrent, whichever, that's unfortunate. I can't relate to that because I haven't had an experience like that, but that can change in a New York second. That can happen to me or anyone today, and it would change my mind. But I've always had the attitude up here is that Yeah, we have a lot of degenerates, and yes, in answer to your question early on, I see a lot more of it. I see a lot of single men, and by that I mean guys walking by themselves with hoods on around here in Welter Avenue and Palmer Street. And again, says, "Oh, Glenn, you're just overreacting. That sounds racist in nature." It's like, no, I think, and no, hear me out, and I think you would agree with this. It's when you see things differently that weren't here before. Yeah, you could turn into a Karen and jump to conclusions. But the human mind knows, like, for instance, today, and Jeff brought this up today, there was a fellow, he might be there now, in a wheelchair at the intersection of whatever, right in the middle of town, across from the Great Wall, right next to St. Patrick's Church. Big intersection. Okay. And he's sitting there with his back to the traffic in a wheelchair. And I couldn't read the sign, but apparently he was beaten up by law enforcement, whatever. But again, I never saw that before. I've never seen anyone beg for money like I have in recent days. And I said earlier how people are just kind of wandering the streets in the middle of winter with hoods on where no one can see their face. So yeah, there's a lot of new elements to Watertown, and I can see what you're saying, ma'am.
Yeah. I mean, my suggestion. I mean, obviously, I'm just a peon. No, I don't mean anything, but
well, you do.
Honestly, I think it should be illegal for these other communities to basically dump everything.
It's money. It's all money. It's non-for-profit. They got to justify themselves.
It's not really though, because at the end of the day, like it's really just pulling everything else out of Watertown.
No, you're absolutely. But they've given up. But New York State has given up on communities like ours. Is my point. And the money part of it is that these non-for-profits that are popping up all over the place, and they call them medical centers for the mentally ill. They need to to service them. So say, hey, look, we need 2,000 deranged people in the next 6 months. We can get people from Vermont. Let's bring up people from Onondaga County. We might as well have like our own version of the Statue of Liberty. Bring us your crazies because we can. We made it an industry up here to take care of them. We don't care about the bottom line or people moving out of town because they feel unsafe anymore. We have institutions that have salaries on them through the state or government, and we need them to prosper. So that's my take on it. But at the end of the day, it degrades to society, and it makes things dangerous. I apologize for the fact, and I'm sorry that you left Watertown. Our population is under 24,000 for a reason, and I think you stated many of them in this phone call, ma'am.
Yeah, and like I said, it was just one thing. I
understand.
I had no idea that this was happening until, like I said, recently. And
I understand. I do have to go. Call me up again with any other craziness, and thank you for the phone call, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. And last call of the day, real quick, 2 seconds.
Yes, this is your...
Real quick. You just took 2 seconds.
Ask Mr. Jennings to come in and explain why all this... I think if we really...
I will.
The conversation with this lady was wonderful.
I will, definitely. And Steve Jennings would be a perfect choice for this, and many other people that can explain this nonsense. AM 1240 WATN Watertown does make us legal. A great show, and we'll see you guys tomorrow next CBS.